Remote Evil. Book 1. Chapter 18. The World Misses Cherry. This audiovisual book was created by Joseph Russell Tim Pugh Gyson. Cherry has been missing for nearly 2 weeks now. Her friends who were supposed to be her companions on her vacation have already tried to call her mobile and phone several times already while they were vacationing. But they still waited for their vacation to end before informing the police. They just thought that maybe she had an instant modeling assignment and quit her vacation at the last minute. She frequently did this, that is why they saw no reason to worry about her. Luckily her mother panicked when she did not call her as she usually does. At first her mother reasoned that maybe she was still enjoying her vacation, that is why she is forgetting to call her. But after 4 days of no contact her mother decided to visit her house. At first she rang the buzzer in her house. When no one answered the door she called out to Cherry. When Cherry still did not answer she tried to open the door. The door was not locked. She searched for her daughter all over the house but found her nowhere. Then she saw her mobile phone. It was dead. It has not been charged for days. Even her old mother knows that in this day and age of electronics communication nobody leaves their mobile phone uncharged. Her vacation tickets and documents were still all in the sofa where she left them. Immediately she knows that her daughter has not gone on a vacation. Something has happened to her. She immediately calls the police while crying. The police came immediately. They found the mother of Cherry sitting on the sofa and quietly crying. The police began their investigation. They are taking special attention to the crime because they have not solved the murder of Dan and thinks the disappearance of Cherry is related somehow to his murder. They started to knock on the doors of the neighbors of Cherry and asked questions related to her disappearance. Soon they knew that a delivery van stopped at the house of Cherry before and was later followed by a white van. They traced the driver of the delivery van and started to ask him questions. The Asian driver of the delivery van is a struggling newly arrived immigrant who works 7 days a week and works from early morning until late night to feed his family and to keep his delivery business surviving. He accepts all delivery requests even from questionable clients without question because he needs money. The delivery driver told the police that he picked up a big gift box from an old man who was wearing big dark green colored sunglasses. He was also very fat. His hair and very long beard were all colored white. His skin was very dark as well. He was wearing a formal business attire. To the delivery man he looked like a Middle Eastern or an Indian man. He looks like a distinguished and respectable old man that the delivery man trusted him when he told him that he was a secret admirer of Cherry. He never bothered to know why this old man was waiting in front of a small grocery store. He got so distracted by his big cash payment with accompanying tip to him that he never even bothered to think or become suspicious why his client was waiting for him in the parking area of a small grocery store. Next the police questioned the cashier at the grocery store. He was a young and foreign Pakistani student who worked part-time at the small grocery store to partially support himself. He just told the police that the old man bought some food and drink and never took his large change. He said he would give him his large change if he allowed him to stay at the grocery parking area. The cashier also gave the same information the delivery man gave to the police. He too cannot remember anything else about the mysterious man who stayed in the grocery parking area. The police checked the background of both the cashier and delivery man in case they were accomplices of the mysterious man in the grocery parking area, but their backgrounds and alibis all checked out clear. Their families and company both cleared the cashier and the delivery man. As to the old man, the police strongly concluded that he was in a disguise, especially after his composite sketch was finished. His face was just too covered not to be in a disguise. His fat body too is being questioned, especially when the delivery man questioned the proportion of his body fat. The delivery man pointed out to the police that the arms and shoulders of the suspect looks like they were padded with foam or some material and were just made to look fat. The police found no one matched the identity of the suspect when they checked their databases. There were no other witnesses. It was a dead end for the police in this part of their investigation. Next they traced the white self-driving van which kidnapped Cherry. They soon discovered that it was now just a burnt-out wreck in a remote highway. When the police investigated the wreck they found traces of flammable liquids and powders. They concluded that the van must have been full of them, that they almost fully burned the van. They also found traces of a detonating device used to trigger the flames which burned the van. They also concluded that the van may have been remotely controlled or is self-driving based on the remaining burned-out machine and electronics parts found, which are not standard parts of cars or of any other vehicles. They even have to use an expert on self-driving cars just to prove that their theory is correct. The expert later informed the police that the self-driving car components were crudely made but were patterned after existing self-driving cars now commercially available in the market. The plate numbers that are now burned as well were not real plate numbers but counterfeit plate numbers. The serial numbers of the engine of the van, chassis, and the other vehicle identification numbers and markings have been scratched out. Either the criminal or criminals did this themselves, or they could have bought it from one of the many professional syndicates that steal and rebuild cars to give them new identities. These are the strong conclusions of the police. The police also investigated the immediate area of the burned-out van. The nearest people or structure that they can locate are several miles away. No one saw the burning van or any person driving or getting away from it. The only reason the burned van was found was because there was a passing retired police officer who was with his family and on their way to a vacation. The retired police officer stopped because the burned van looked suspicious to him. It will take a long time for the police to find out where the van came from, especially when they have to deal with professional car syndicates who would not talk to them. This is what the police concluded. The police also concluded that it was almost impossible for them to track the origins of the van. The police cannot find any clues in the house of Cherry 2. There were no fingerprints found. No guns were found, although there were bullet shells found. The bullet shell owner cannot be found as well because the bullets were ordinary bullets that can be bought at any gun shop. Just like the murder case of Dan, the police also have no suspects on the disappearance of Cherry. The only thing that the police can do for now is to treat both crimes as related and to reactivate the investigation regarding the murder of Dan and review all previous suspects again and again, and to add possible new suspects of which they have none. End of chapter.